What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be looking at what I feel is the most important attachment in Infinite Warfare, and that is Quickdraw. We're going to be looking at what Quickdraw does to every single one of the guns in the game, and I'm going to be sharing which guns really benefit the most from having Quickdraw, and why it's such an important attachment to have. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so looking at the hard statistics that I have access to, keep in mind there's still pretty rough hard stats, there's still some errors mixed in there, so I did hand test everything to back it up. Every one of the guns, aside from the sniper rifles, gets a 50% reduction to their aim down sight time when using Quickdraw. And this is huge. If you guys remember from Black Ops 3, all of the guns aside from the LMGs, and keep in mind sniper rifles couldn't have Quickdraw on them, all of the other guns though, they got a 30% reduction to their aim down sight time, and the LMGs only got a 20% reduction to their aim down sight time. In this game, we get a 50% reduction to all of the guns aside from sniper rifles. Now I hand tested all of these just to make sure they are accurate, and it turns out it is accurate. Now we don't have the hard stats for the sniper rifle aim down sight times, so I could only hand test them here. And keep in mind there is some frame rounding involved, so this might be off by a percentage point or two. But it looks like we get approximately an 8% reduction to our aim down sight time with sniper rifles. So Quickdraw is not nearly as viable on sniper rifles as other guns in the game, but at the same time, it is very valuable to have on sniper rifles simply because they're a one-shot kill weapon, and their time to kill is essentially their time to aim down sight when you're quickscoping. The one exception to this I should mention is the DMR. The DMR1, I calculated a 13% reduction to your aim down sight time, so it does get a little bit more of a benefit than the other sniper rifles based on what I can see here, and that is a big enough difference that the frame rounding shouldn't have that much of an impact. So it seems like the DMR does benefit a little bit more than the other sniper rifles when you have Quickdraw equipped. Another interesting thing to point out is the EBR in assault rifle mode only gains a 6.5% reduction to its aim down sight time. So therefore, it doesn't behave like the other assault rifles to get a 50% reduction, so be careful if you're using the EBR in assault rifle mode. Quickdraw really isn't doing too much for you. Now I can say these percentages out to you guys all day, but it's really hard to picture how much of an impact that's going to have on your game for a lot of people. So let's bring in our practical time to kill values. Now by practical time to kill, I mean your statistical time to kill combined with your aim down sight time, because in a lot of gunfights you're going to be seeing your enemy, then aiming down sight, then firing and hitting your shot. Now I know there are going to be some situations where you hip fire as you aim down sight, especially when you're close range, and you might land a couple shots while you're in the process of aiming down sight. Also, there's going to be the situations where you're pre-aiming and the enemy already walks into your sight. But for most people that are at least playing somewhat aggressively and moving around the map a little bit, they're going to be first seeing their enemy, then aiming down sight, then firing, at least with assault rifles and LMGs. SMGs are maybe a bit more of an exception because you tend to be more up close and personal, but still, you're going to run into a lot of those gunfights. So just for this example here, let's use the NV4 within its 4-shot kill range, since the NV4 is the most used gun in the game right now, and also its 4-shot kill range is really its practical range, and most gunfights are going to fall within that range. Its statistical time to kill, not including aim down sight time, is going to be 294 milliseconds. Once we add our base aim down sight time, which is 250 milliseconds, that takes our practical time to kill up to 544 milliseconds. Now let's look at it when we have Quickdraw equipped. We've still got the 294 millisecond statistical time to kill, but now we're only adding 125 milliseconds for our aim down sight time. This takes our practical time to kill to 419 milliseconds. This means you kill 30% faster when you have Quickdraw equipped on the NV4, assuming you hit all your shots and everything like that. A 30% decrease to your time to kill is massive. It's almost as if you have stopping power when you have Quickdraw equipped here, because you're able to kill 30% faster in those situations where you see your enemy aim down sight, then fire. This is why it's such an important attachment, in my opinion, at least for assault rifles and LMGs. Now you do get a similar effect with SMGs, and if you are somebody that still with SMGs aims down sight then fires, which a lot of people do, especially when they play more of that like mid-range SMG role, then it still is very valuable for SMGs as well. But if you are using them up close and you're like hip firing as you aim down sight, or you're just hip firing, obviously Quickdraw isn't going to be as effective for you. But for assault rifles and LMGs, you're reducing your practical time to kill by about 30%. And that's why I feel Quickdraw is pretty much a crutch attachment. I will not use an assault rifle or an LMG class without Quickdraw equipped. And I highly recommend you do the same. As for sniper rifles, as I was saying before, it only reduces your aim down sight time by about 8% rather than 50%. But for a lot of these sniper rifles, especially like the Widowmaker or the KBS longbow, your time to kill is essentially your aim down sight time, assuming you're quickscoping. And therefore, every little bit counts, and you're still reducing your time to kill by 8%, and it is noticeable in-game when you don't have Quickdraw versus when you do have Quickdraw. Is it completely night and day like Quickdraw in Modern Warfare 2 on sniper rifles? No, it really isn't. But you still will notice it in-game when you're not running Quickdraw versus when you are running Quickdraw. And also keep in mind, the DMR1 does benefit a little bit more from Quickdraw as well. So once again, even with the sniper rifle class, I highly recommend running that Quickdraw attachment. As for shotguns, generally I would just say it's not worth it. A lot of the shotguns are great with hip firing, especially when you pop on a laser sight, and I feel like laser sight would be a much more valuable attachment than Quickdraw. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for today's quick video on the Quickdraw attachment. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.